serious, it's fun, it's your Catholic drive time.
With Joe McClane and EmilyiAlcaraz.
Joining us again via Zoom chat from Rome is Mountain Butorac, Catholic travel guide. Mountain, welcome back to the show. Let's talk about the Triduum Holy Week in the Eternal City. What is it going to be like this year?
So this year we have a curfew, first of all. So we have to be home by 10 p.m. So that kind of puts a damper on the Holy Thursday tradition of visiting the altars of repose, where we visit. It's supposed to be 7 churches, but most people try to hit as many as they can before midnight. So that's still going to happen, but it's just going to be kind of cut back a little bit. The papal liturgies are all closed to the public for the Triduum. So he'll be doing the Stations of the Cross in St. Peter's Square tomorrow, but we're not allowed to go. So we'll just have to watch it online like everyone else. But masses, they're still going on. We're allowed to go to mass. So it'll be a little different, but I'm just thankful. Last year, masses were closed to the public. This year, they're not. So that's huge.
That is, I can't tell you, Mountain, how depressed I was. I was angry on Easter Sunday morning, trying to stream a mass in front with my kids, my wife and kids. I was crying. I was so bitter because it's the highest feast day of the year, and I'm sure we could find a giant parking lot, a field. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. And
right.
Instead, we got locked down, and that was so depressing. So I can imagine the joy that Roman Catholics must be feeling to be able to just go to Mass on Easter Sunday morning. Have you had that experience there?
For Easter Mass?
But the sentiments of the people that live there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, definitely. It's a huge deal because I know it's hard for everyone to not be able to go to Mass, and that's still going on in different parts of the world. But to have Mass taken away in Rome, like a couple of blocks from the Vatican where I live, like it wasn't just like an attack on each of us. It felt like it was a hit to the church to see the Vatican shut down and the churches of Rome shut down. People are definitely excited to be getting back, and churches are crowded. I mean, even more so than before all this began. So I think that people have returned to the faith in greater force here than before.
Do you think that will have a lasting impact? I mean, you might remember post 9/11, churches were full, right? But things obviously settled back down after some time, and the numbers went back to where they were before. It would be amazing to hear that this has reinvigorated the faith in the hearts of the Italians. Do you see that?
I hope it sticks around, but you never know.
You never know.
We'll have to see in time, but right now it looks beautiful.
Wow, praise be to God.
Well, Mountain, I was wondering, so one of the traditions that I have had since I was at University of St. Thomas, me and my friends would do the 7 pilgrimage churches in Houston. So we'd go and visit the most beautiful churches in Houston, and we go and visit them for Holy Week, or for the Triduum. And I know this tradition really started with St. Philip Neri in Rome. Is that still a thing that happens in Rome? And is that possible for people to do? Because I love that tradition. I've always dreamt of being able to go to Rome and do the 7 pilgrimage churches. So what is it like in Rome for the 7 pilgrimage churches?
Well, it is still going on. We do have a curfew till 10, so we can't go until midnight as usual. And there are some other restrictions too, like some churches, they're not going to a side chapel or a side altar because they want to use the main altar because there's more space for the people. I don't expect to see as many people out this year as in the past. But last year we couldn't do it. So I'm super excited to be able to do that today. And I'm even doing it live on social media tonight so that people back home can enjoy it as well.
When did that tradition start?
It is rumored that it was something that St. Philip Neri started. He did start the 7 pilgrimage, which goes to St. Peter, St. Paul outside the wall, St. Mary Major, St. John Lateran, St. Sebastian, San Lorenzo, and Santa Croce. I'm not 100% sure if he started the night visit to the altars of repose. Some say that was him. So I don't know when it started, but it's definitely been going on for hundreds of years.
Will there still be a way of the cross on Friday to the Coliseum?
No, it's being moved to St. Peter's Square. Just like last year. If you recall, last year, the Holy Father had it in the piazza. And this year, it's going to be a group of scouts leading the meditations around the piazza. So the young Italian scout group here.
So how do you normally, on a normal Easter or Triduum, how would you normally celebrate this time? And what would you do normally as opposed to what are you doing for Holy Week, this last week, and then going forward to the Triduum?
Well, nothing changes for me this year because everything is open. So as a family, we're going to do the churches tonight. We'll go to the Holy Thursday Mass. Tomorrow on Good Friday, we will have the Way of the Cross at our church. And then we're going to do the Easter Vigil this year. And then Sunday lunch, that's a huge thing in Italy, the big Sunday pranzo. So we've got a lot of food planned for that day. One thing that's different this year, you can't really have guests over. So you're only allowed like 2 visitors a day or something like that. Just weird. They made up for Easter weekend.
Excuse me, Fran here. How does anybody know you've had more than 2 guests?
I guess they're kind of maybe hoping people will tell on other people.
What?
Doesn't this harken back to the fascist Nazi era?
Yes. I mean, that's how it felt during our lockdown. Our lockdown at the beginning was super strict. I mean, you couldn't even visit your grandmother. Like if they had a rule last time that if you visited your grandmother, she couldn't give you food.
Oh,
like,
God.
how do they keep up with that?
How do you prevent an Italian grandmother from giving you food, for crying out loud?
I know. It was ridiculous.
Has anybody been actually turned in? Any grandmother been turned in for giving food?
I have no idea. I would like to think that no one is doing turning in people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's insane. It's like I can just vision a jail cell full of Italian grandmas. It's like,
with their pots of plates.
like, what are we doing here, people?
Well, so today is the anniversary of last year. We were locked down for 55 days.
Wow.
Today, 1 year ago, was the very first day that we could take our kids outside. So we were allowed to walk dogs. We could go on like walks on our own, just within 100 meters of home.
Yeah.
But 1 year ago today, they said you can finally take your kids out, one kid at a time, and they can't run. So we could only have them walking.
Run.
Coronavirus can't catch you if you're walking. They can catch you if you're running though.
Yeah. Thankfully now we don't have those rules anymore. But
it must have felt like being released from jail to get out in the sun.
It did. And I've told this story before, but our churches were open. Mass wasn't allowed, but we could go to church, but it had to be within 100 meters of our home. And that's not a lot of space. So when we would go out, we had to have a form with us that we filled out what time we left, where we lived, where we were going.
Wow.
And if we got caught and the form was wrong, something was wrong, we were 101 meters from home, we could literally be fined on the spot or arrested.
Wow.
And there were times that I was going to church and it was a little further than 100 meters. Don't tell the Italian government. But I would literally hide behind cars and buildings looking for the police before I would cross the street to get to the church.
Oh my goodness.
And it felt, I mean, I wasn't going to be like crucified or burned or skinned alive, but it felt like the persecutions.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a Christian trying to get to church to worship, and I'm having to hide from the authorities to do so.
Well, that is insane, Mountain. I mean, that literally is diabolical confusion and just utter insanity. Yesterday, we had a guest on who from Ireland to talk about how masses are criminalized there, public masses anyway.
Yeah.
A priest could be prosecuted rather under the law for saying a public mass, and so could parishioners for attending them. And I asked him if there were underground masses being said in Ireland. He said yes, there are underground masses going on right now in Ireland, of all places. Right. To hear you describe, your papers, please. It's like that hasn't happened in the Eternal City since the Nazi occupation of the place.
Right.
That's very insane. So no more papers, right? Those are gone. You're back to normal.
Well, we have the papers this weekend.
You do,
but again, we're allowed to go to mass. We're allowed to go to church. We don't have a restriction on how far we can go.
Oh, praise God.
And And over Christmas, we had this similar lockdown over Christmas. It's really to prevent families from gathering. It's not to prevent us from going to church. They're not checking anything. So it's nothing like it was a year ago, but it's still ridiculous to have to fill out a paper and say where we live and where we're going.
Yeah, amen. Mountain Butorac is our guest. We have just about a minute and a half left with you, Mountain. I wanted to ask about the suspension of private masses on the side altars and how the locals are seeing that move. Do you have any insight there?
I don't know one person that thinks it's a good idea.
Wow.
It's insane. It makes no sense. There are people that they think like, oh, it's a private mass. It's just one priest. That shouldn't be allowed. But the terminology in Rome, private mass means anything outside of the normal mass schedule. So it could be a group of 200 people that requested an altar for their group. That's a private mass. These are the things that's being banned. And they've moved them into the grottos. And so what that does is it takes away the opportunity for people to just wander in the church and stumble upon a mass in the morning and find one in their language. Because to get into the grottos, you have to get past security. And they're not like stopping people. But a normal person is going to feel a little intimidated to have to go up to a security guard and say, can I go down these steps?
Insane.
So it's terrible. It's awful. I know no one that's happy about it.
All right, Mountain Butorac, God love you and God bless you. Thank you for being on our show this morning. I assume folks can find you on Facebook?
Yes, thecatholictraveler.com. That's my website.
thecatholictraveler.com. God bless you, Mountain. Have a great day. Happy Triduum and happy Easter to you. All right, praise be to God. That's going to do it for hour number 1 of Catholic Drive Time. Join us in hour number 2. Prizes are going to be given away today, plus news and so much more. We'll see you then. God love you.
Thank you for joining us on Your Catholic Drive Time, where it is our pleasure to keep you informed and inspired.
Join us Monday through Friday at the same time, right here on your favorite Catholic radio station.
Don't forget to connect with us. Just go to facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Again, that's facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Be sure to share more than just us today. Share Jesus with everyone you meet.
Bye now, and God love you.